Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Chris Craddock, who's a real estate expert and the founder of the Redux Group. Chris, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks so much for having me here.
You are welcome. I want to learn about your journey in entrepreneurialism, but first I want to find out what the world is a Redux, and you're the founder of the Redux Group, so I know there's a story behind that name, so enlighten us on what that is.
Yeah, Redux just means to make something old new, right? So that's the idea of what it is. And when we first got into business, we were looking at flipping houses, right? And that's what we were doing. And so flipping houses makes something old and turns it to something new. Well, then as my business transitioned from just flipping houses, I still do that some, but the majority of what I do is run a big retail team that actually partners with investors, does a lot with investors. But I have a big retail real estate agent team, and somebody's old house becomes somebody's new house, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's still making something old new. So that's kind of the whole origin of the
need. So did you start off in your real estate career as fix and flip?
Yeah. So I guess it was the early 2000s. I was on staff at an organization called Young Life, and I loved Young Life. Changed my life. Amazing. I made between $20,000 and $25,000 a year doing that. And when my wife got pregnant in 2003, we knew that we had to do something to be able to make ends meet. And so I went to the library because it was before Google was the fountain of all information, and checked out every book on real estate investing, read it, and just started knocking on doors. And I made 12 times what I made in a year in about 4 months. And wow. I was like, okay, this is really cool.
Maybe I can do a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exactly. And so that was the start of it. And then I continued doing ministry stuff for a while or for a long time. And then in like 2010, I was at a point where I've got 6 kids. So anybody that has kids understands that it's literally like a bathtub with no drain plug on it, the money with all your money in it, and it just goes away. And so 2010, I was at a point where I just had no money at all. And I was trying to sell my blood to NIH for $300 to buy Christmas presents for my family. And, started flipping houses again. And at that point, just while I was in ministry, I'd always led large groups of people. And so I'd gone back to school. I had gotten a doctorate in leadership. And yeah, that was kind of my situation there.
Yeah. Well, I'm a kingdom-focused entrepreneur as well, and I will tell you that I'm sure you know this, but being in real estate is still a ministry, and it's just who we interact with each and every day, and it's not just Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, because Monday through Saturday happens, and there's all kinds of opportunities around us every single day, and I think that that's a really exciting prospect too.
100%. Couldn't be more true. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, literally this morning at the time of this recording is a Friday morning here, and I went just attended our monthly, it's called KBA, the Kingdom Business Alliance, and it's a group of Christian business owners that gets together once a month and have teaching time, prayer time, and networking and encouraging each other, and it's just really neat to have people that you can sit across the table with or jump on Zoom if that's the case. And so, I mean, too many times people think, I went to church Sunday, and then now it's time to go do my business, but in reality, wow, bam, business as a ministry, and it's just really something important. And, people have real estate needs. And you know what else? I'm looking at your website and all your team. You've got a team member or a 10 or a 30. You've got people that you are leading and using your degree to lead and minister to. So I think that's really exciting. So I'll tell you one thing, when I heard you say selling blood and hitting the rock bottom, at some point you had to have a mindset shift to say, here's where I am now. Here's where I want to be down the road. What was it going on that helped you kind of spark that mindset shift to kind of move past that?
Well, yeah. See, the tough thing is, like, and I feel bad because sometimes I portray it in a different way. the life I chose was, in ministry was a great life. It was weird because on the one hand we had no money, and that was the hard part.
Yeah,
but on the other hand, the being able to make an impact in so many people's lives and do what we were doing and just all the stuff there was just, it was really powerful and really great. So I don't want to mispronounce kind of what was going on there, but it was just hard financially. I'll just put it that way. And so the interesting thing was, I was like, well, I made a lot of money in real estate. I'll go back and flip properties. And so I went and did what I did before. And, but at this point the crash had happened. So all the people I was talking to no longer had equity in their house like they did when I first was talking with them. And so I learned that short sales were a thing that you could flip. And so the banks, you couldn't just get a lower price if you were not licensed. The banks were either going to pay a commission or they weren't at the same price. And so, at least at that point, most of the banks. And so I ended up getting my license just to flip my own houses. And one of my buddies ended up giving me the book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, from Gary Keller.
Yeah.
And with that, I was able to get a good understanding of how you could build a team where you can make a lot of money by helping a lot of people make a lot of money.
Yes. And you could have stayed down in the dumps and been like, well, I guess I got to keep on, going back and doing my Walmart job or find something. But you had to have that outside help, guidance, accountability, read this book. And then you had that fire in your belly. So that's awesome. And then at what point do you don't just jump into growing $100 million in real estate and a team of however many dozens. It's a slow process. So you started here, then you added this and added that. What did that process look like for you?
Yeah, well, I just straight out the gates, I went and got two of my two friends and just said, hey, I know you want to get into real estate. Let's do some stuff together. And so I brought them in to help me with the team. And, they were brand new. And I was like, well, I know how to flip houses. I know how to get stuff done. So I was the more experienced one, and I knew so little, but I just knew a little bit more than everybody else at that time. And so, we started going. And for me personally, when I was in ministry, what I did, I used like a rudimentary CRM. And so my CRM was my phone, and I would just go through my A's, and today was an A day. So I call my Alan and Adam and Andrew and just check on them, see how they're doing, see how life is. And so when I got into retail real estate, people were just like, hey, build it with your sphere of influence. So I just started going through my A's and then my B's. And the way I did it, I just called everybody to see if I could help them, see how life was going, see what was going on, all the other stuff on that front. And, I just cared about people. And there's a law of reciprocity, right? If you care about people, do right by them, they're going to ask you how they can help you. And that's what people did. And we started doing more business. And then I realized, I'm like, dang, there's a lot of money to be made in title. And so we opened a title company. And then I was like, dang, there's a lot of money to be made in insurance. And so we opened an insurance company. And then I was like, dang, there's a lot of money to be made by getting a rental portfolio. So we did that, and then flipping and wholesaling and Legal Shield. And, now I'm a part of EXP, and EXP, you can make a fortune in your EXP downline. And so there's all of these different ways that you realize you can grow your world, and they call it vertical integration. It's like doing the exact same thing, just building other businesses in the same vertical so that you can do one transaction and get paid 5 times.
Yeah. And the thing, I believe in that wholeheartedly. And I think that one of the elements of that to be successful is the glue that holds it together is building a relationship of caring. And if you were the quintessential used car salesman type person, fast talking, let me just make a buck, none of that would happen because people would smell that a mile away and they would, thanks, Chris, but no thanks. So you had laid the groundwork just in your approach anyway from putting other people's values first and from your ministry days of just serving and giving value. And then that really served you well in growing a business. And then sure, you got some outside mentors that said, well, if you're already doing this many transactions, maybe you should start a title company, mortgage company, insurance, whatever, because you develop that relationship with that family to buy or sell their house. Well, what else do they need? Why do they need to go interview that other company? I got it in-house. And then it makes it easy for them. And then I would suspect that they appreciate the one-stop shop, and then referrals becomes very simple, right?
Right. 100%. 100%. That's exactly it, right? You just make it easy, do a good job on all the different pieces, and it just, you pass it around, and it just makes for a great all the way around situation.
So in the real estate, part of your business, are you more focused on residential, like buying and selling for clients, or helping people find investment properties?
Well, all of the above. So this year, our goal is to sell about 700 properties, which is up about just over 15% from last year. And with it, about 25% of what we do is some sort of investor-related deal, right? So something that needs a lot of work, something that they're massively they need a lot of work, or the seller needs to sell fast, or whatever. And so we're able to find a lot of off-market properties because we just work with a lot of investors who are looking for off-market properties. I am an investor as well. So those are kind of some of the things that we're working through with everything that we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. So when you talk about building your team, I'm sure that you have an opportunity that you would say to either person that is newly licensed or whatnot, hey, here's what we offer. What is it that you would be able to help someone get into the business, maybe get licensed and come on board with your team? What do some of those opportunities look like?
Yeah, and see, that's one of those things that I really love about one of the reasons why we went to EXP is because EXP has you've got two different paths, right? Anybody in the country could basically join our organization through EXP, which is really cool. So yeah, and listen, anybody that's thinking about getting into real estate or in real estate and looking to, to level up, reach out to me on Instagram at Craddock, Craddrock. I would love to, not my last name, but an old cheesy high school nickname. But yeah, that's the whole thing is if you come in through the organization, we offer a lot of help, a lot of training, a lot of coaching. For those that are on our team, we offer training, coaching, every single morning. We also offer leads and back office. And, my whole thing is, we've all heard of the 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your income comes from 20% of your effort, right? The Pareto principle. Well, if that's true, if somebody makes, let's just say $100,000 a year, because it makes my math easier, and it's easier. That means that if you make $100,000 a year, that $80,000 that you make comes from 20% of your effort, which is one business day. So literally one day a week equals 80,000. So what we do, and the reason why our agents make a lot of money, is because we work really, really, really hard to make sure that our agents are doing the stuff in their 20%, right? That we have people that does the paperwork for them. We got people that works the inspection piece for them. We've got people that does all of the different things. And we are making sure that our agents are in that 20% where they're selling, they're meeting with clients and negotiating. They're doing all of that.
Yeah. Well, I literally today was interviewing someone for the podcast here who wrote a book called That's It, I'm Fired. And it's written from the perspective of you cannot wear all the hats. You cannot do it all yourself, because everything you just mentioned is probably what all you did back in the day. Well, and then when you grow and you grow and you grow, you need to bring those people in so that you don't have to do this, that, and the other paperwork and all that. Well, if you then can focus on your zone of genius and do the highest and best use of where your time is led, now you can go out and build those relationships, and knowing that the back office has your back. Well, most of the time in the real estate industry, you get that license and you hang your shingle wherever, and it's like, go get her done. And that's an opportunity that, people don't provide newer agents or any agents, is to have that full team behind them. That's a really amazing opportunity.
Right. 100%. And that's the biggest key right there. It's just making sure that if you've got a good team that's functioning on all cylinders, then, everybody's going to be great. You use the zone of genius. That's one of those. I've got a sign on in my office. Are you in your genius zone? And that's the big question. Are we doing those things that are keeping us working in the highest and best use of our time?
Yeah, because that's the Dan Sullivan, kind of a quote or mantra. And then if you are in your zone of genius, doing the things that are the highest and best use of your time, now that's the 20%, tying into what's going to bring you the 80% of the rate of return. And those things are going to be different for each person. But when you have a mentor like yourself that can work with agents and say, here's what you need to be doing, here's your zone of genius, boy, that really is the fast track. So, Chris, it's been great chatting with you. What's the best way someone hearing this could go, you know what, I want a little bit more? What's the best way someone can reach out and connect with you to learn more?
Well, there's a couple different ways. So if you are a real estate agent who also wants to be an investor or is an investor, definitely check out obviously the average podcast listener listens to 7 podcasts. So keep listening to this one, but I'd love to be one of your other 7. It's called Uncommon Real Estate.
Awesome.
It's everywhere. And then, if you want to reach out to me personally, one of the things that I do, I think I'm down to 2 right now. I'm almost caught up, but anybody that sends me a DM on Instagram, I'll personally answer it, personally interact, anything I can do with you at Craddock. And then I'm also on TikTok, Chris Craddock Official. And then, I have a coaching business as well, working with an agent or investors, essentially helping them make the most of their leads and everything. You just go to my webpage, chriscraddock.com.
Excellent. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Well, this has been great. Thank you for having me. A lot of fun.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.